All right, so now I'm starting with 1.4. 1.4 is regarding the checking the accuracy of data. We have already discussed regarding the basic concept of data and information, and now I'm going to discuss with you that how it works when you want to actually check the accuracy of your data if it is correct or not. So for checking the accuracy of data, you have the first term, which is known as your validation. What is validation? Validation is basically the process of checking data matches acceptable rules or not. The process of checking data. So that means you have some data and you apply some process or some procedures onto that to check if it satisfies the certain criteria or not. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Like, for example, when you are entering a data or when your data is input into a computer system, the purpose of your validation is to ensure that your data is sensible and it conforms to some number of rules. Like, for example, a railway season ticket will have an expiry date. The season ticket is valid until it expires. Once it expires, it is invalid. So the rule here is that the date the season ticket is used must be before its expiry date, right? It can, like, the expiry date cannot be before the ticket is valid. So this is basically a rule to check that if your data is validated or not, to check if your data is correct or not. When your data is validated, it conforms to the rules, then it will be accepted. So when your data is being accepted, it confirms itself to the rules that it will be accepted. If it does not conform to the rules, then it will be rejected and an error message will be presented that says that validation does not ensure that your data is correct. So if your data is correct, if your validation is matching, so it will say that your data is accurate. But just in case if there is some problem with this, so it was going to output that your data is not correct and it is insensible. So, right, like see, for example, I have a data here. What is the data? The data is the name of the student. So a name of the student can always be in some alphabets, maybe like Abdullah, maybe like Saad, or something like this. Can you ever see someone's name like 7699? Like, is it sensible? No, it is not sensible, right? So that means when you have uh like some data, so it has to be sensible. It has to be meaningful. So validation takes place when data is input into a computer system, right? So basically, what is the purpose? The purpose is to ensure that the data is sensible and it conforms to those defined rules. As I explained you that your data, which is validated, maybe if it is a name, it cannot be like 7789 because it does not refers to the name of a person. So the first thing is that your data has to be validated and it should conform to the rules, then it will be accepted. Important point is that validation, it's like it does not really ensure that if your data is 100% accurate or not. So for this, we are going to discuss a number of validation methods, which are all of these. So first of all, let's start with a presence check. Can you tell me what do you understand by this?
Presence checks means like the number of characters which are available. For example, like in a passcode, it is required for like 8 characters minimum to produce a strong passcode, or like maybe like presence checks, for example. The password only allows letters and symbols, so only the presence of letters and symbols is allowed.
Yes, as the name says, that it is basically about, you can say, presence check. So, a presence check is going to make sure and ensure that the data you have entered is correct. So, it's like if data is entered, then it will be accepted. If not, then data not entered. So, then the user will be presented with an error, right? Like this is an example as you can see, like log into your account, you have the email address, you have the password, and you need to fill in the mandatory details. So this is basically a required data on a website, and like this example here as well. So it just asks the user to enter the required data. So if the data is valid, it is accepted. If it is not valid, it will show you an error. So this is an, let's check the worked example. It says that maybe when filling in a contact us form on a website, it is important that an email address is entered. So these outputs would be valid only if a presence check is carried out, right? Like you would see something in a box of email that it has to be something like at the rate Gmail or at the rate whatever the domain name is. So this is a presence check, like you are making sure that you are entering certain values or not. Then the second example of validation is range check. Can you tell me now, can you give me an example of a range check?
Yeah, this one I think is for the password because range check, like a specific range of characters should be used or a specific like so, like that.
Like, for example, if I'm trying to add
Like
some students of maybe grade 9 into my class, so what is going to be the preferred age for them?
grade 9, 14.
Yeah, so if someone enters maybe like 50, is it sensible?
No, that's why we need
Yes,
a range check.
yes, yes. Or maybe if I say that your computer science exam is of 75 marks, so what is your range? Your range is from 1 to 75, right? So a range check is the one which ensures that your data is within a defined range. Your data is within a defined limit or not. So you can use a range check that has some boundaries. So this could be the highest possible value or this could be the lowest possible value. So we can utilize a range check that includes two boundaries. Like you can have the upper boundary and you can have the lower boundary. So you can work with these symbols such as greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to, like this. So here are some worked examples. Can you explain me these three examples one by one, A, B, and C?
In opinion of code is taken now. Okay,
What do you say?
these are all range checks.
Hmm?
These are all range checks.
Yes. Listen, the first example says that an opinion poll is taken and asked for the respondent's age. The respondent age have to be at least 18 years old. Now you need to focus on one thing, that when you are working with a range check, this is ensuring that data is within a certain defined range. And when your data is within a defined range, it is going to have two values, which is a highest possible value and the second, which is a lowest possible value. Have you studied upper bound and lower bound in maths?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you have a limit or some value, you have two elements into that, which is the lowest bound, the lowest possible value, or the highest possible value. Like if I say you that your computer science exam consists of 75 marks, so what is the lower bound? 0. And what is the upper bound? 75. So in a range check, our range is defined between the lower boundary and between the upper boundary, and into that data that is within the boundaries is referred to as a valid data. And if it is a data which is outside the boundary, so this is considered as invalid. So here they said it that the lower boundary is 18, which means that there is no upper boundary. So this is an example. So the lower boundary is 18, there is no upper boundary. So this is a limit. So you have to write it like age should be greater than is equals to 18. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
After that, the second example is letters representing grades for an exam are entered. Only the letter A and E are valid grades. Okay. The grade must be less than F. The upper boundary is E. There is no lower boundary. So if you want to limit a grade check, this could be written as like this, like grade should be less than F, which means you can enter A, you can enter B, you can enter C, you can enter D, like this. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Then we have the third example, which says that the number of students in a class must be between 5 and 28. So in this part, your lower boundary is 5 and your upper boundary is 28. So you can write like this, that like the number of students should be greater than is equals to 5 and less than equals to 28. So that means that data that is within the boundaries is valid and data that is outside the boundaries is invalid. So data that is valid and within the boundaries cannot be necessarily correct, right? Like a grade of C could be entered when grade A should have been entered. So they are actually trying to say that you are trying to add a verification check, but in a validation check. But again, as I said earlier, that this does not makes it guaranteed that whatever the data you are entering into the computer system is 100% accurate. Is it clear?
Yes.
This is the summary of that as well. Like if your data that is within the boundaries is valid, if it is outside the boundary, it is going to be invalid, right? For example, if your marks are from 0 to 75 and if you are writing 100 or 150, so that's not totally acceptable. With the third example, which is a type check. Do you know anything about this?
Type check meaning like the type, the format is like the same.
Hmm. Type check.
Type
When
check
I
meaning the type of text entered is like the same like
Yes,
the
yes, yes. It says that data that is being entered must be of a defined data type, right? Like for example, what is your age? If I say
uh
that your age is Abdullah, does it make any sense?
no.
Your age is 15, does it make sense?
Yes.
Why? Because I have made the type of age as integers. If I say your age is 14.8888886789 does it make any sense?
Yes.
How? Are you going to write the number of days, the number of months, the number of hours you are alive on this planet?
No.
Then this doesn't make any sense. So if an age is entered, it must be an integer. If a grade is entered, it must be text. If a price is entered, it must be numerical.
Yes.
And if a date of birth is entered, it must be a date. So date that is of correct data type is valid. Data that is valid and of the correct data type is not necessarily correct. So a date of birth could be entered. So the data is valid because it is a date type, but it is so it's like you are entering a date of birth, so it has to be of a certain type. Any confusion in this?
No.
Then we have the length check. When it comes to a length check, it ensures that data is of defined length or within some certain range of limits. So examples of a length check can include maybe a password that has at least 6 characters long, a grade that is exactly 1 character long, a product that could be at least 4 characters long. So if you are talking about length check, it is about how much your data is there. Do you remember when usually we are typing the passwords, they ask us that your password should be 6 and 8 characters long. Your grade should consist of only 1 character, and your product should only consist of 4 characters and 6 characters. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Then we have the format check, which is used to make sure that if your data matches the defined format or not. So it is sometimes known as a picture check as well. So like I told you earlier that if it is an email address, it has to be with certain digits like @ whatever.com. So your data that you are trying to match, it should match the certain format. When you are going to check for the lookup check, so lookup check basically means like you are checking a list of data to check that if they really exist or not. It's like maybe you have 1,000 students in a school and you want to check them if the number of students are male or female. So this is a lookup check where you are going to add a filter and you are going to check that how many number of students are there. Then we have the consistency check. So consistency check, it compares data in one field with data in another field that already exists within a record to see if both of are consistent with each other or not. Have you seen when you are developing the passwords, right? When you are developing the passwords of, so they ask you, right? Like, you have to type your password back again twice and they only accept if your password that is written twice is same. Have you ever witnessed this?
Yes. What do you say?
I
Can you repeat?
mean, I mean, when you are making a password for any social media website, they ask you to write your password twice.
Yes.
And what happens if your password is not same?
It becomes incorrect.
Yes. So this is an example of your consistency check because it is used to check that if the password that you entered is same or not, right? See, when entering the gender of male or female, a consistency check will prevent F from being entered as Mr. and male being entered as Miss. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So when you are entering data about dispatching products, it would not be possible to mark an item as being dispatched until while it has been packaged. After that, what I am going to discuss with you is going to be check digit. Do you have any idea about check digit?
No.
Now, when it comes to check digit, a check digit is basically a number or letter that is added at the end of the identification number. For example, can you see this barcode on my right hand side? Can you see the one, there's a circle marked on that?
Yes.
This one. Can you see here?
Yes.
A check digit is the digit that is added to the end of the number. It is the form of redundancy check, not needed for identification number, but it is only used for your validation to make sure that whatever you have is correct or not. So, how this one number is generated, that is basically at the end of your code, it is basically calculated from all other digits and it is used as a method of identification. I'm repeating it again. A check digit is a number that is added on the last, on the right hand side, and it is basically a form of redundancy check to make sure that the number that you are using uh, is correct or not. You know, this number, which is known as the check digit, which is allocated on the last, this is used to check that if it is correct or not. This is basically generated with the help of an algorithm to make sure that your data is validated. So it's like that if the results of the algorithm should match the check digit, the data is valid. If not, then the data is invalid. So let me show you an example right here. So there are a variety of ways how you have to calculate or how you have to find out a check digit. You do not have to learn all of them, but you need to understand. So let's check this example 1.07. This is basically ISBN. ISBN it stands for uh, it's International Standard Book Number. ISBN stand for International Standard Book Number. Yes. So this is, you can see that right here you have the unique product code and check digit is being used with 13 digits barcode. It is the last digit shown on a barcode. The algorithm for calculating the check digit is as follows. So first of all, what you have to do to calculate this one, you need to add all the digits in even number positions together, which means you are only going to add mm, uh, like if this is the barcode here, you are only going to add the digits in even number position. That means 7, 0, 5, 3, 0, 1, and 1. So you will get 16. Is this step clear? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
The second thing you need to do is that you need to multiply the results 1 by 3. That's what you did here. So you multiplied the result 1 by 3. Then what you did is that you added all the digits in odd number positions. Then you added the result 2 and 3 together, divide them, and you calculated the remainder and you subtract from that. So the result of the algorithm is 1, which you got right now. So is the last digit you have is 1? Yes, you have 1. This means that the data is correct. But in some of the cases, if you get some value that is not validated or does not required, so that means yet your data will be invalidated. So let me share you an example question of check digit so we can work with it. Uh-huh. This is one of the question, but we are specifically looking for check digit. All right, but let's do this question as well. Can you reply me this question? The bank stores database of all of its customer. The first field in the database is the account number. The account numbers are different for each customer and consists of 10 digits. For example, this new accounts are opened in branch of the bank's regular basis. Describe three errors that a person entering the account number. Can you tell me what can be one error and the validation check of this?
One error can be like uh, range check, for example, only like 10, the digits can be more than 10. So like length check basically.
Okay.
And so like, and for the second error, it can be like um what was it called, like the the character check, like
Mm-hmm.
the character only like numbers should be there, not letters, so character check. And the third error can be um third error, check format check, I think that's it.
Length check, check digit, and
Oh
presence check.
yes,
Here is the answer.
present check.
And here are the reasons as well. Can you please go through them?
Okay, sir.
Do you have any confusion in this?
No, sir. Sir, but can there be like check digit? Yeah. Then check. Why isn't there like a character check?
Because they are asking you to make sure that the account number is exactly 10 characters. So you might enter an account number with 9 or 11 digits or less than more digits. So you need a length check to
No,
make sure.
like character check, like for example, the customer might enter like letters instead of numbers.
No, bro. Character check is like for when you are entering single characters like A, B, C, D. So how is this possible here if you are trying to add some characters? See, they gave you an example for the account number. So I
Hmm.
mean, how are you trying to add a character check into account number? The account number just checks for the numbers. Here, maybe you can use a type check instead of that, and you can make sure that you are only entering the numbers. But the question said describe three errors that a person entering the account number of a new customer might make. For each one, describe an appropriate validation that would trap the error. A range check or limit check would not be suitable. Each validation check must be different. And you have given that the account numbers are different for each customers and consist of 10 digits, for example, this. So for this part, the best suited areas is going to be a length check and a check digit, or you can say a presence check.
Hmm.
Now